My precious child, you are not here by chance. You didn't click this by accident. There is a whisper reaching for you now, soft, persistent, holy, and your spirit already knows it. Yes, you can feel it. That strange ache in your chest when everything seems fine, yet your soul feels like it's standing at the edge of something unseen. That's not confusion, that's confirmation. Gabriel is near. Heaven is trying to reach you. Not tomorrow, not next year, now, because the window has opened, and my child, you only have this moment. I know how tired you are, not just in your body, but in the deep, hidden corners of your being. I know how much you've carried, how long you've waited, how often you've questioned whether the silence around you meant you were forgotten. But you were never forgotten. You were being hidden for a reason, shielded, guarded, watched over by hands you could not see. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every delay was the loudest "I love you" whispered from heaven. And now, this whisper is shifting. It's becoming a declaration, a trumpet in the unseen. You have entered a sacred window. A divine alignment is taking place right now. This is not the time to scroll past. This is the moment that decides what unfolds next. Do not skip. Do not silence that trembling in your chest. That is not anxiety. That is awakening. You've been feeling it for days, haven't you? That something is off, something you can't explain. The people around you seem the same, but their words fall flat. Their energy drains you. You smile, but it's heavier now. You speak, but you feel unheard. You wait, but nothing seems to move. That's because you are being called away from the counterfeit, the false comfort, the soft distractions, the sweet detours wrapped in familiar faces and rehearsed kindness. There is something or someone in your atmosphere right now that appears warm, but is gently pulling you out of alignment. They're not your enemy, but they are not your assignment either, and heaven is not silent anymore. Gabriel says, you prayed for clarity. This is clarity. You begged for direction. This is divine instruction. You asked for change. This is the invitation to it. But you must listen now, my child. This is not like all the other messages you've ignored. You have pushed away the very voice you were desperate to hear. But it's okay, because this moment is still yours. 45 minutes, that is all. That is the window. That is the urgency. It is not a threat. It is a sacred countdown. It's not about fear. It's about focus, because what comes next depends on what you choose right now. Gabriel whispers again. I have seen what you didn't see. I heard what you weren't meant to hear. I protected you from what would have broken you, even when you begged me not to. Yes, that person, the one you thought would stay, the one you trusted with your heart, their absence wasn't a punishment, it was a rescue. You cried when they left, but you didn't see the moment before they did, the way they spoke of you behind closed doors, the way they held your name in their mouth with no reverence, no honor, no truth. But I did, and I knew if you stayed, your light would dim, and I couldn't let that happen. You've been protected in ways you never knew. That missed call, that opportunity that disappeared at the last second, that sudden change of plans, all of it. Heaven's hand, keeping you from a place you didn't belong, so that you could arrive at the one you do. My child, listen. The reason you felt stuck, even when things appear normal, even when nothing seems wrong, is because your soul is sensing the trap. It's subtle, it's soft, but it's real. And if you ignore it now, you will repeat another cycle you already begged to escape. Haven't you had enough? Of smiling while bleeding inside, of giving when no one gives back, of waiting for a message that never arrives? Gabriel says, this time don't scroll away. This time don't silence your knowing. This time do not betray your own spirit just to keep someone else comfortable. This message is not for the crowd, it's for the chosen. The one who has walked through fire silently, the one who stayed kind while being torn, the one who believed while being overlooked. Yes, you, this whisper, has your name on it, my beloved child. You have carried dreams that didn't die. They just went into hiding. You have loved people who couldn't return it because they never knew how. You have suffered in silence, but heaven has not been silent about you. Gabriel says, there is someone assigned to mislead you, not with cruelty, but with charm. They will offer you soft words, just enough affection to keep you waiting, just enough warmth to delay your rising. And that's why this message is urgent. You are too close now. You are too near your breakthrough to be delayed again. So stop, breathe, listen. There is a divine appointment approaching, a moment of shift. An invitation will arrive, a decision will be required, and what you do in the next 45 minutes will determine whether the blessing unfolds or pauses, not as a punishment, but as a protective reset, because heaven will not send a divine reward into the arms of someone who is still choosing the counterfeit. You are worthy of more. You are ready for more, but you must choose it now. Gabriel says, you are about to walk into rooms where your name has been spoken with honor. You are about to be remembered by people who once forgot you. You are about to be celebrated in places that once rejected you. But not if you keep choosing what hurts you, not if you keep returning to what has already proven it cannot hold your heart with care. This is not a scolding. This is a rescue, a whisper with wings, a message carved in mercy. So, my precious soul, stay here. Don't click away. Don't let fear convince you this isn't for you, because if you're still reading this, then heaven hasn't stopped calling your name. You're not late, you're right on time, but you must respond. Let go of the weight. Open your hands, lift your heart, say yes. Yes to clarity, yes to peace, yes to the blessing you've been waiting for. Type Amen. If your spirit knows this is for you, type 777 if your breakthrough is near. Stay with me till the end, beloved one, for what's coming next will change everything. My beloved child, you stayed. You didn't scroll past, and that choice, just that choice, already caused a tremble in the spiritual realm. Yes, even now, angels have taken position around you, not because of fear, but because of transition. You are not standing still anymore. You may feel like nothing's moving, but the ground beneath your spirit is shifting. Because heaven has decided enough is enough. You've been patient, you've been faithful, you've given grace where none was returned. You held space for others while shrinking your own needs. And now the time has come for exposure. Gabriel whispers, there is someone close to you who has not been honest. Not with loud betrayal, but with silence, with omission, with withheld truth disguised as peace. They didn't lie with their words, they lied with their stillness, and your heart knew it. That ache you couldn't name, that hesitancy when they hugged. You, that flicker in your soul when they smiled. That wasn't paranoia, that was discernment, but still, you waited. Still, you gave them the benefit of the doubt. Still, you loved them deeper than they knew how to receive. Still, you whispered their name in your prayers. But I saw what you didn't. I heard what you weren't supposed to hear. There were words spoken about you, not in your presence, but behind doors that heaven has already opened. And now I am showing you who is for you and who is simply near you. There's a difference, my child. Some are fascinated by your light, but do not honor your calling. Some are drawn to your peace, but have no intention of protecting it. Some are attached to your spirit only because your presence soothes their chaos. But they do not pour back. They do not build with you. They do not carry you in prayer. They only take and leave you with less than you had. Gabriel says, you are too precious to be treated as a convenience. You are too chosen to remain in a counterfeit connection, and that's why this moment feels uncomfortable. That's why the faces around you feel unfamiliar. That's why peace has been elusive. Because something isn't right, and heaven is no longer letting you ignore it. There is someone who should have left your atmosphere, But you keep letting them return, not because they deserve it, but because your heart still remembers the version of them they pretended to be. And now, my precious child, I must speak clearly, because you asked me to. That relationship, that conversation, that person who came back just when you were starting to rise again, it's not reconciliation, it's interruption. You are being pulled backwards by hands that smile in daylight but whisper confusion in darkness. Don't ignore the signs this time. Did you notice how your joy lessened when they returned? Did you notice how your clarity blurred again? Did your sleep grow restless? Your body ache in places it didn't before? These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. Gabriel says, they were never your enemy, but they were never assigned to go where I'm taking you. You must release them with love, with peace, but with finality, because what I am preparing for you requires your full capacity, not the version of you that's tired from pouring into empty wells. My child, you can no longer be half obedient and expect full breakthrough. This is not the season for compromise. This is the hour for surrender. And yes, this message still carries the same urgency. The sacred window remains open. Not forever, not endlessly, just long enough for you to step through, but not while carrying what I've asked you to lay down. You are still holding on to conversations that hurt you, still rehearsing what you should have. And Zed, still waiting for apologies that may never arrive. Let them go, not for them, for you. Because the next door I open cannot be accessed with your heart entangled in yesterday's confusion. And make no mistake, child, a door is about to open. It won't look dramatic. It might arrive in a small message, a quiet phone call, an unexpected encounter, but it will carry the scent of destiny. And if your spirit is weighed down, you'll miss it. You've prayed for years. You've waited with tears. You've endured the silence. And now, heaven is answering, but you must be ready. Gabriel whispers again. There is a counterfeit blessing trying to arrive early. It will look like peace, sound like purpose, feel like alignment, but it is not sent by heaven. And if you say yes too quickly, if you respond to the invitation, the real blessing will wait. Not because I'm punishing you, but because I won't allow you to mix what's holy with what harms. Discernment, my child, that is your shield in this season. Ask me before you reply. Pause before you respond. Pray before you reattach. Type 444. If you receive this warning in your spirit, type Amen. If this is confirmation for you. Because yes, you are being watched, not just by the wrong ones, but by the right ones too. There are people assigned to your next chapter who have been waiting to see if you are really ready. And the moment you release the wrong attachments, those right connections will find you, I promise. But you must choose now, not next week, not when it's convenient. Now, Gabriel says, I have waited long enough to speak this clearly. You are chosen, you are covered, you are not abandoned. But you must align. Do not delay your destiny because you are afraid to hurt someone's feelings. Do not shrink your voice to make someone else comfortable. Do not ignore the divine whisper to avoid confrontation. This message is your moment. This is your inner knowing, being confirmed aloud. You didn't come here by chance. You were drawn here by alignment. And now that you are here, you must decide. Will you go back to the familiar pain or step forward into divine promise? Heaven is watching, not to judge you, but to catch you as you leap in faith. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are loved. You are called. You are covered. And you are standing at the threshold of everything you've prayed for. Stay here. Listen to every word. Because before this message ends, your spirit will know exactly what to do. Heaven sings over you, precious soul. The veil is lifting, truth is rising, and the door is just ahead. Don't miss it, my precious child. Before we move forward, breathe with me. Not with panic, not with fear, but with reverence, because what I'm about to show you is not a warning, it is a preparation. You've been asking for a sign. You've been praying for confirmation. You've whispered in the quietest hours of night, God, is this person the one? Is this finally the answer? And now I must speak plainly. Someone is approaching, or perhaps they've already arrived, and yes, they look like the answer. They feel like the missing piece. They say all the right things. They mirror your spirit. They speak of dreams. They say they understand you. But child, listen. Just because something looks divine doesn't mean it was sent by heaven. Sometimes the greatest delays come dressed in the sweetest distractions, and sometimes what feels like alignment is simply a test, wrapped in affection. Gabriel says, this person was not sent to harm you, but they were sent to pause you. Yes, pause, to slow your progress, to keep you waiting just a little longer, not in joy, but in subtle doubt. They won't seem wrong, they won't feel toxic. That's what makes this moment so dangerous. They're pleasant, kind, spiritual even. But they are not assigned to your destiny, not for this season, not for what God is about to unfold. You see, my beloved one, this person may carry traits that remind you of what you've prayed for, but likeness is not the same as divine purpose. Gabriel says you must learn to discern between the echo of your desire and the true voice of my direction. Ask yourself, does this connection deepen your clarity or cloud your vision? Does it pull you into purpose or into a new waiting room? Because I have seen this pattern before. A kind soul enters your life. They give you hope again. They say all the right things, and for a moment you believe. But then the confusion starts. The old wounds whisper, your rhythm of progress falters, and instead of rising, you begin circling again. Child, it's not because they are evil, it's because they are early. Yes, they may be meant for your story, but not for this chapter. And if you embrace them now, you will delay the unfolding of the very breakthrough you've been waiting for. Heaven is not asking you to reject love. Heaven is asking you to wait for love in alignment. Because what's coming next for you is too holy to be shared with someone who was sent to observe, not to walk beside. You must be willing to let go of the almost blessing to make space for the ordained one. Gabriel says, I know this is difficult. I know your heart has waited long. I know what it feels like to finally see someone who doesn't run from your depth. But depth alone is not the measure. Purpose is. You were not sent to this world for a quiet, passive life. You were not shaped by storms to settle for soft diversions. You are being prepared for rooms that demand obedience, for doors that only open through surrender. And some people cannot come with you. No matter how gentle their presence, no matter how safe their arms feel, no matter how familiar their words sound, you must choose the voice of heaven over the whisper of comfort. And if that means walking alone for a while longer, so be it, because child, you are not walking empty, you are walking in alignment. Gabriel says, let me guide you this time. Don't leap with emotion, lean in with discernment. Before you say yes, before you agree, before you open your heart, ask me, not once, not quickly, but fully, genuinely. Ask me if they are sent for this season. Ask me if their presence brings divine clarity. Ask me if your soul settles into peace, not into confusion. And if you feel tension, if your dreams grow noisy again, if your focus weakens, if your spirit becomes foggy, know this, that is your answer. Because what I send to you will not unsettle your soul. My chosen one, you are not in a season of testing. You are in a season of revealing. Everything that comes now must be filtered. Every person, every opportunity, every message, not through your wounds, not through your hopes, but through your obedience. You prayed for a new beginning, and I heard you. But do not rush the planting because you're tired of waiting. The fruit will come, child. The harvest is near. But if you eat what was not meant for your spirit, you will grow full and still be starving. And I don't want that for you. So take a breath and write this in your heart. If it is from God, it will not bring confusion. Let that be your guide. Let that be your answer. Gabriel says, you are not being teased by heaven. You are being refined. You are being prepared. You are being strengthened. Because what's ahead for you'll require full clarity, and I promise you, what I send next will not whisper distraction. It will thunder with destiny. Stay here. Do not run ahead. Do not skip ahead. Let heaven finish the work. Let the oil be poured. In full, type Amen if this is confirmation for your soul. Type 555 if you're willing to wait for the real thing, not the good thing, the God thing. Stay with me, child. The next part will open your eyes, my beloved one. There's something I must show you now, not in a dream, not in a sign on the wall, but through what you've already been feeling. Yes, that feeling, that subtle unrest, that discomfort you've tried to explain. Away, you called it overthinking. You named it fear. You wondered if you were just broken. But my child, it was none of those things. It was me. Gabriel says, that soft ache in your spirit, the strange tension in your chest when they speak, the heaviness that settles even in peaceful surroundings. Those are my whispers. You prayed to hear my voice. You begged me for answers, and I answered, not always in the thunder, but in the tremble, not always in the light, but in the flicker. Child, do not ignore that flicker. Do not dismiss the nudge. Do not silence the warning, because it came without words. Some of the most sacred messages come in silence, and this one has been echoing in your soul for days. You've tried to stay calm, tried to stay grateful, tried to convince yourself that things are finally good enough. But the unrest inside you hasn't faded. It's grown. Why? Because heaven is trying to pull you forward, and comfort is trying to hold you back. Not sinful comfort, not chaotic comfort, but the kind of comfort that delays destiny because it feels easier than obedience. Gabriel says, you are being asked to let go of what appears stable, so you can receive what is truly aligned. And I know that's not easy. I know you're tired of shifting. I know your heart longs to rest. But what you're calling peace is actually spiritual stagnation. Listen to me. The reason your spirit tightens around certain people is because their energy is not matching your elevation. They don't hate you. They may even love you in their own way. But love that dims you is not divine. And heaven is no longer letting you settle for half-light. My child, you've outgrown rooms that no longer fit your spirit. And though you've tried to shrink again, to make it work, to stay soft, to stay still, your soul has begun to stretch. That's why it hurts. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're being invited into something higher. And yes, that invitation comes with discomfort. You see, before I shift your circumstances, I shift your sensitivity. Before I open new doors, I train your discernment. And this is that training. You are learning to trust the whisper more than the words, to follow the pull more than the pattern, to believe in the pause more than the applause. Gabriel says, there is a place I am preparing for you, a space that will honor your full light, but I cannot take you there while your loyalty remains tethered to what drains you. You've been giving energy to what doesn't return it. You've been defending people who would not defend you. You've been praying for peace, but entertaining confusion. That is why your body feels tired. That is why your focus is fractured. That is why even the good moments still feel incomplete, because your soul knows you're not supposed to be there anymore. Yes, you've been trying to hold on, but I've been gently loosening your grip. That's why doors are creaking. That's why people are pulling away. That's why conversations don't flow like they used to. Not because you're being punished, but because you're being preserved. Child, I'm not asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to be honest. Gabriel says, if it hurts when they leave, but peace floods in after, that is truth revealing itself. If they stop calling and you finally breathe freely again, that is me, removing what you didn't have the strength to walk away from. You said you wanted clarity. This is clarity. You said, God, show me what's real. This is real. You asked me to speak, and now I am, not through thunder but through tension. So don't push it down. Don't distract yourself from it. Don't silence it with surface-level joy, because this ache is sacred. It is your spirit waking up. It is your soul standing at the door of release. And if you walk through, I will show you what peace truly feels like. Not peace that depends on other people, not peace that needs approval, but peace that settles and stays, the kind that anchors you in purpose even when storms come, the kind that doesn't fluctuate with how others treat you. But to receive that, you must first honor the unease. Yes, the unease is a message, not a mistake. Gabriel says, you are not broken, you're just awakening. What you're feeling is not a setback, it's a signal. And now I'm asking you to follow it. Type Amen. If you've felt this too, type 333. If your peace has been speaking louder than people lately, this isn't about judgment, this is about alignment. And child, I won't let you miss it, because what I've prepared for you cannot exist in rooms where your value is debated. What I've assigned to you cannot be sustained by people who only love the use of you, but not the truth of you. You've poured too much to keep being drained by those who don't pour back. Let this be your moment of permission. Permission to leave the tables where your presence isn't honored. Permission to stop answering calls that always leave you heavy. Permission to believe that heaven wants more for you than just survival. Gabriel whispers, your discomfort was the holy clue, and now your decision is the divine key. So choose. Not in fear, not in panic, but in peace. Choose what brings silence after the goodbye. Choose what brings clarity, not confusion. Choose what whispers truth even when it hurts. And when you do, you will feel it. The shift, the lift, the unlocking. Because, my child, obedience is the open door, and on the other side of it, your next season waits. My precious child, you've asked me again and again, why didn't it happen yet? Why did it take so long? Why, God, when I was ready, did everything fall silent? And now I will answer you plainly. It wasn't delay. It was protection, yes. Those moments you called failure, those nights you cried, thinking I had turned away, the phone calls that never came, the doors that shut in your face, the person who changed their mind, the job that slipped through your hands, the message that never arrived. None of it was missed opportunity. It was my hand, moving, shielding, redirecting, because I saw what you didn't. I heard what you weren't meant to hear, and I knew what your heart could not carry. Yet Gabriel says, you thought the silence meant you were forgotten, but the silence was the sound of angels at work. They stood guard when you slept. They whispered truth when lies surrounded you. They closed doors with tears in their eyes because they knew your spirit would break if you walked into what you thought you wanted. And child, I know you don't understand it all now, but you will. Because this isn't punishment. It never was. This is mercy. This is divine alignment. Gabriel whispers, there is something you prayed for that didn't arrive, because it was wrapped in the wrong energy. You didn't fail. You weren't rejected. You were preserved. And if you could only see what heaven saw, the conversations behind closed doors, the intentions that weren't pure, the hidden burdens that would have crushed you, you would fall to your knees and thank me for every no. You didn't lose time. You were rescued from waste. And now the timing is becoming right. Now your heart has stretched. Now your discernment has sharpened. Now your hands are no longer clinging to what I asked you to release. This is not the end. This is the unlocking. Gabriel says, you thought it was over, but it was only being reset. The shift wasn't in what you saw, it was in what you didn't. You see, child, while you were waiting in stillness, I was rearranging the winds. I was aligning names, places, events, so that your arrival would collide with my assignment. You are not behind. You are right on time. Type Amen if your spirit knows this is truth. Type 777 if you believe the delay was a setup for something greater. And now, let me tell you what you've missed. Not because you were careless, but because you didn't know how to recognize it. I have been speaking again and again. Not just in this message, but in every tear you cried, in every cancelled plan, in the tightness in your chest around certain people, in the dreams that repeated, in the strange delays that didn't make sense. I was there. Gabriel says, you asked for a sign, but the sign didn't come with a trumpet. It came with a hesitation. It came with a closed door. It came with silence. That made you ache. And child, that was me. You didn't miss the message. You just expected it to sound like thunder. But I speak in the stillness too. I speak in the split second you changed your mind, in the moment you felt unsure, in the sudden idea to go a different way. That wasn't coincidence. That was divine orchestration. So many times you said, I feel like something is blocking me. And you were right, but it wasn't the enemy. It was heaven's hand, protecting your seed before it could sprout in the wrong soil. Do you understand now? Gabriel says, the reason you felt restless is because your spirit knew there was more. And, child, there's more joy, more peace, more alignment, but it only flows through surrender. You must stop calling it failure when heaven calls it protection. You must stop asking, why didn't it happen? And start saying thank you for what didn't. Because the kind of miracle I am preparing needs a foundation of wisdom, and wisdom is what you've been gaining through everything that didn't go your way. You are not the same. You are wiser now, sharper, more aware, more willing to listen, and because of that, you are finally ready. You don't need to beg, you don't need to force, you just need to trust. Heaven is not withholding, heaven is timing, and child, the time is almost here. But let me warn you gently, before I release the promise, you must fully let go of the plan you created. Gabriel says, your plan was built in pain, mine is built in purpose. Let it go, let the picture fall apart, so the promise can come together. Don't cling to the version of the dream that came from fear. Don't chase what I've already removed. Don't keep returning to what I ended. That is not faith. That is familiarity. And this next chapter will require pure faith. So lift your hands, close your eyes, say this from your heart. I trust your delay. I honor your no. I surrender to your better yes. Gabriel whispers, the seed you planted in tears will bloom in peace, but only if you stop digging it up with doubt. Let peace take root. Let the past fall silent. Let the future unfold on heaven's schedule. Stay here with me. Listen to every word. Because, child, you are about to hear the invitation you've been waiting for. My precious child, you've come this far because your soul recognized the sound. It wasn't noise, it was calling, and now the door is in front of you. Gabriel says, this is not a moment of curiosity. This is the moment of decision. The window you've stepped into is sacred, not measured in earthly time, but by heaven's rhythm. You still have time, but not forever. You've been asking God, what do I do next? And heaven answers, say yes, not a half-hearted maybe, not a delayed surrender, but a full, fearless yes. Child, you thought you were forgotten. You weren't. You thought the delay was punishment. It was protection. And now I ask you, will you return to the familiar pain, the conversations that drain, the door I closed in mercy? Or will you step into the light with empty hands and open heart? Gabriel whispers, you are not waiting on the promise is waiting on your obedience. There is something that will shift only when you move. So lift your voice, lift your faith, lift your yes. Say, God, I trust you, I surrender now. This message wasn't sent to inspire, it was sent to realign, to return you to the path you nearly abandoned. You prayed, give me one more sign. Child, this is it. This is the final whisper before the shift. This is heaven's gentle urgency, reaching for you with mercy, not anger. Type Amen if this stirred your soul. Type 888 to welcome the blessing. Say yes aloud if you're ready. The door is still open, but not for long. Step through, my beloved child. If you are still here, it means your spirit stayed, and that matters. That moves something, because not everyone stays when heaven speaks softly. Not everyone hears past their own noise, but you did. Gabriel says, now that you've stayed, be still. One last moment, for in the stillness, your yes becomes seed, and seed in my timing becomes harvest. Child, don't look back now. Don't reach for what didn't hold you. Let the whisper become your rhythm. Let surrender carry you forward, because the next breath could be the beginning